What state will people be flooding into next year? That is what we're looking at in this video. Are you worried your state is the next California or Texas? Keep watching, you'll find out. Every year a bunch of different lists and studies explain where people had already moved to. In this video we're looking at the future and why we think people will be moving to each of these states and what part of each state these American gypsies will be landing in. And today we're ranking these top 10s by our opinion as which one's going to be the best in the next few years. Got it? Get it? Good. Let's take a look. Number 10, Wyoming. If you've ever dreamed of living in a postcard, Wyoming might be the place for you. Its wide open spaces and low population density make it the go-to state for those seeking a little solitude, fresh air, and to be honest, really low taxes. Yeah, Wyoming's got some pretty low taxes. While the job market isn't killing it like other states, for Wyoming, it's starting to look pretty good. For the long time, it was just oil, gas, and mining. That was it. These days, it's a favorite spot among retirees and remote workers because of its affordability. These are people that don't mind trading in a busy city for peace and quiet and the occasional bison sighting. That being said, Wyoming has started to see some growth in several key industries, each contributing significantly to the employment of the state. Here's a quick breakdown for the fastest growing industries. Construction. Yeah, they got more people moving in, they're going to have more construction. More people moving in means we're going to need more healthcare. And that's another growth industry in Wyoming right now. Of course, government is another growth industry because they need more government officials, they need more police, more firemen, more parole officers. And of course, mining, oil, and gas are always popular. They do fluctuate, but they're still popular. And right now, mining industry employs about 12,000 people in Wyoming. Now, considering Wyoming doesn't have a lot of people, that's a high number. But Wyoming's economy, as it navigates the economic shifts, they're starting to lean into new areas that are growth industries like renewable energy and technology. It's predicted in 2025 alone, they'll grow 2.1%. By the way, that's exactly what it looks like they're going to end up growing in 2024. So where are they moving to? Maybe Cheyenne, but Cody and Casper are starting to gain some traction these days. Number 9, Oklahoma. Oklahoma is becoming a hot spot for entrepreneurs and families thanks to its affordable housing and growing economy. Tulsa, in particular, is attracting attention for its startup scene, proving that you don't need to live on the coast to make it big in tech. Safe neighborhoods, decent schools, and a reasonable cost of living are also pulling in new residents. If you're looking for a place with Midwest charm and modern opportunities, Oklahoma's really going to roll out the red carpet, or in this case, the oil-stained welcome mat. I mentioned this just recently, but I used to do videos for a website called Make My Move. They have all kinds of offers for people working in tech to move there where they'll give you money just to move to like Tulsa and a couple other places. This is leading to another thing that's bringing people in. Aerospace and defense. That industry is kind of growing at a pretty good pace in Oklahoma. Of course, energy's always there. That's never going to change. I mean, energy right now employs roughly 50,000 people in Oklahoma. And they're not going to get rid of oil and gas. They're going to continue with that, but they're also getting into renewable energy, which is going to be where a lot of the new jobs are, which are going to bring more people in. And of course, logistics and manufacturing are always available in Oklahoma, especially in Oklahoma City and Tulsa. Logistics and warehousing alone employs about 60,000 people in the state. Manufacturing, about 130,000 right now. Where they move into in Oklahoma? Well, it's going to be the suburbs of either Tulsa or Oklahoma City. The rest of the state's pretty much small towns and open road. In 2023, Oklahoma grew by 2.4%. 2024, 2.6%, and they're predicted to grow 2.9% in 2025. Number 8, Vermont. Vermont may be small, but it's attracting a growing number of people looking for a simpler, more sustainable life. Known for its charming small towns, leaves that turn different colors and fall off the trees, and of course, maple syrup. Vermont offers a slower pace of life and a strong sense of community. The state has seen an influx of remote workers, drawn in by its picturesque landscapes and a quiet living. Really, that's what they're looking for. They're not the cheapest, so, a lot of people are still moving there because it's so beautiful. One of the big selling points for Vermont is its commitment to sustainability and eco-friendly practices. That may not be your thing, but that does matter to a lot of people. And plenty of opportunities for people that like to be outdoors and enjoy activities like skiing, hiking, and fishing. While the winters can be long and chilly, so gain some weight. Residents love the serene natural beauty that comes with living in Vermont. I mean, there is something magical about cozying up to a cup of hot coffee or hot cocoa in a log cabin during a snowstorm. Now, Vermont's kind of weird. They don't have any giant industries, they don't have giant airports where there's a whole lot of transportation going on. Their biggest industry is probably tourism, followed by healthcare. Healthcare and healthcare technologies are a growing thing and bringing in new jobs in Vermont, and that will continue for a few years, I'm sure. Of course, agricultural and food production, that's always going to be in every state, but theirs is pretty substantial, especially with their syrup industry. Believe it or not. Where most of the people that are coming into Vermont are going to be coming from, I guess you could throw tourism in there too. But the biggest influx of people is going to be those remote workers. They're flocking into Vermont, and that's going to continue for quite a few more years, even though it's more expensive than other places you can go. So where are they going to be moving to in Vermont? Really, since it's remote workers, it's going to be everywhere. Small towns, Montpelier, which is the capital, Burlington, all of them. You really can't pin Vermont down on that one. In 2024, Vermont grew by 0.9%. In 2025, they're estimated to grow 2.1%. Number 7, Georgia. Georgia has seen a surge in popularity, especially with the growth of the film industry in Atlanta, which has earned its nickname Hollywood of the South. But it's not just movies flocking here. Young professionals and families are drawn by the opportunities and lower housing costs. Now, I say lower housing costs because you have to compare it to cities that are growing like they are, and that would be places like Los Angeles, Dallas, Fort Worth, Miami even. So when you compare it to those places, yes, they are relatively inexpensive. When you compare it to most southern cities, they're kind of expensive. The cost of living is below the national average, and with industries like healthcare and tech growing, Georgia is a solid bet for those looking to start or further their careers. Plus, you'll never be far from some southern comfort food, which is really the only reason you need. I don't know what it is. Anytime I go to, New Orleans, you kind of expect it, but anytime I go to Atlanta, I eat far too much. I don't know what it is. It's not like I'm drooling about the food when I think of Chicago pizza or Philly cheesesteak, but just I eat everything when I go to Atlanta. I don't know what it is. Industries that are pulling them in, obviously film and entertainment, and that's going to be for the most part around the Atlanta metro area. Other cities like Columbus, Augusta, and let's say Savannah, you're starting to see a lot of professional jobs spring up there, construction, and technical services. So where's everyone going to move to in Georgia? It's going to be Atlanta, for the most part. The population growth in Georgia in 2024 was 2.1%, and it's predicted in 2025 to jump another 2.4%. Number 6, South Carolina. South Carolina might be North Carolina's quieter sibling, but it's definitely making noise on the migration scene. People are moving here in droves for its mild weather, beautiful beaches, and its growing job market in cities like Charleston and Greenville. Plus, it's one of the few places where you can have both sandy toes and a tech job. The cost of living in South Carolina is still lower than the national average, although it's starting to inch up. It makes people a little nervous. But when you got folks moving in, that's what happens. Now here's a little lesson in life. If the cost of living remains low or actually drops in your state or state sucks. Everyone complains that everything goes up in price or the homes go up in price. Well, that's because you have an appealing place to live. And no, you don't have a right to ask people not to move there or blame people because prices are going up. It happens everywhere. The healthcare and tech industries are booming in South Carolina, so don't be surprised if your next doctor's visit is in a brand new medical facility. So like I'd said, Greenville and Charleston are the places that people are flocking to right now. Retirees are heading down to Bluffton. But yeah, the industries that are bringing them in, alternative energy, healthcare, and electric vehicles, believe it or not, tech, electric vehicles, whatever. The population growth in Greenville in 2024 was up 3.4%. In 2025, it's predicted to jump another 4.5%. I saw another study that said they're expecting it to be 3.9%, but, somewhere there. Number 5, Idaho. Idaho used to be one of those fly-under-the-radar type states. For the longest time, they were really lacking behind in population along with Montana and Wyoming. We've talked about in other videos how their unforgiving terrain compared to, let's say, Oregon or Washington or California. Back in the 1800s when everyone was moving west, that kind of stunted their growth. But these days, it's growing. People from California and Washington are flocking to this state for its stunning landscapes and more affordable homes. This is a little bit of a shift because back in the 80s and early 90s, people from Idaho were heading to California and Washington. While housing prices have risen, Idaho remains more affordable than many other states, and the outdoor lifestyle, it's really unbeatable. It's only matched by a few other states. If you love skiing, hiking, or simply not being elbow to elbow with your neighbors, Idaho might be your paradise. Now, I know a bunch of people in the comment are going to go, well, it's not going to be that way for much longer. Trust me, by the time Idaho gets totally crowded, if it continues at this rate, it'll be 50 or 60 years down the road, and you probably won't be here to witness it. So what industries are bringing these people in once you get past the more affordable lifestyle and the beauty of this state? Well, leisure and hospitality, which is basically tourism. And then, of course, construction, because more people are moving in. And then manufacturing. Idaho is, again, under the radar when it comes to manufacturing. They got a good amount. The population growth in Idaho looks like this. In 2024, it's going to end up being 4.1%. In 2025, it's predicted to jump another 4.3%. Where are they going? For the most part, the Boise metro area. Moscow and Coeur d'Alene are, they're popular, but that's not where a bunch of people are moving to. It's going to be the Boise metro area. Number 4, Maine. Maine might seem like a surprise entry, but it's quietly attracting retirees and remote workers alike. Known for its seafood, scenic coastlines, and lighthouses, Maine offers a peaceful lifestyle for anyone who wants to get away from the hustle and bustle of major metropolitan areas. I was just in Maine, went to Bar Harbor, went to Kennebunk and Kennebunkport, which, yes, they are two different things. And of course, went to Portland. Portland, I definitely saw some construction going on, and there was low-key construction going on in Bar Harbor, so people are moving in there. The state is appealing for those who love the outdoors, hiking, fishing, enjoying a slower pace of life outdoors until the snow comes and then you're indoors. Yeah, just be ready for those cold winters. You'll be swapping flip-flops for snow boots. I did talk to, I think he was an off-duty cop. He said he works for the city. Anyway, he was saying that pretty much the downtown area of Bar Harbor is closed except for a couple different places once the winter hits. I sometimes forget that I'm a lot older than some of the people I talked to. He was very polite and kept calling me sir and stuff like that. I'm like, we're the same age. And I realized, no, I'm like 25 years older than him. Bar Harbor is an interesting little town, though. When I was there, they told me there's a couple places you should go check out. One is Sand Beach. Now, they call it Sand Beach because it's actually got sand like you might find in California, sort of, which makes it an oddity. Most of the coastline in Maine is pretty rough and rocky. And just so you know, Sand Beach is really close to Great Head and Thunder Hole. That's unfortunate. So where's everyone moving in Maine? For the most part, it's going to be Portland. Maybe a few here, there, in Bar Harbor and places like that. But a majority of the people moving there are going to be in Portland. Now, a lot of remote workers are starting to fall in love with Maine, so there's a good chance that all these small towns might be getting 2 or 3 people. Family or 2. Is there going to be a big rush on Kennebunk? No. But places like Portland and the industries that are going to bring them in are renewable energy and tourism and hospitality. A lot of cruise ships go to Maine these days. The population growth. In 2024, it is to be about 2.1%. That's what they're estimating. 2024 is obviously not over, but it's looking like that's what it's going to be. And in 2025, it is predicted to be 3.3% growth. Number 3, Colorado. One of my personal favorite states, Colorado. But even with rising housing prices in Colorado, which is what everyone complains about, Colorado remains one of the top destinations for people seeking a higher quality of life. Denver, Boulder, and Colorado Springs offer job opportunities in tech, healthcare, and education. And on top of that, there's a lot of military jobs there. They got Fort Carson and the Air Force Academy, which my son's getting ready to go in the Air Force. Very proud of him. But Colorado has kind of taken a lull. It's always been a very popular one. The last few years it's taken a little bit of lull, but I believe it's about to jump back up again. Where are they going to be moving to? Like I said, Denver, Boulder, Colorado Springs. What kind of jobs are drawing these people in? Well, it's not really as much a retirement state. It's the jobs, really. Tech, healthcare, education, military, and of course, tourism. The population growth in Colorado, it's going to end up being about 1.5% growth in 2024, and in 2025, it's predicted to be up another 3.3%. Number 2, Tennessee. Tennessee has all the makings of a migration darling. Low-cost living, no state income tax, great cities like Nashville and Knoxville, horrible cities like Memphis. But I think you want to focus on Nashville and the bustling cultural music scene. In Nashville, you can't throw a cowboy hat without hitting a live music venue or a hopeful singer-songwriter. But it's not just about country music. The state's job market is also growing, especially in the healthcare and manufacturing area. Plus, Tennessee's mild climate and natural beauty are huge draws for nature lovers. People come for the Grand Ole Opry, but stay for the affordable housing and moonshine. Yeah, they still have that there. I mean, they still have it everywhere, but yeah, it's still a thing. So where are they moving to? Nashville, that's about it. No one's moving to Memphis. I mean, it's growing a little bit, but nothing spectacular. And Knoxville is seeing some pretty good growth. But a majority of the people are going to be moving to the Nashville metro area. In 2024, it looks like Tennessee's going to end up jumping up about 2.5%, and it's predicted to climb another 5.3% in 2025. All right, before we get to number 1, here's the question that you can answer in the comment section below. If you were forced to move to a southern state, which one would it be and why? Leave it in the comment section below. All right, on to number 1. And number 1, North Carolina. Yep, North Carolina is a boom state. You heard of boom towns? This is a boom state, and I think they're at the very beginning of their boom cycle. North Carolina is basically the cool kid on the block in 2024, and that's going to continue into 2025, thanks to a mix of tech jobs, affordable living, and scenic views. Cities like Raleigh and Charlotte are magnets for young professionals looking for tech jobs without having to sell their organs or sell feet pics to afford rent. I mean, you got to sell the feet pics if you want to go out and drink all kinds of beer. They got some great breweries there. Asheville, meanwhile, is the dream for nature lovers and retirees. Again, they got a lot of great beer there, alongside some cool mountain views. Did I mention that it's cheaper than living in New York or California? Yes, by a long shot. Now, all the growth for North Carolina is coming from a few different places. One, a lot of just professionals, like I said earlier, young professionals, they want to start their career there. A lot of remote workers are moving to the rural areas and down by the coast. And a lot of retirees that decided Florida isn't for them are settling in North Carolina. Why are they doing it? Healthcare jobs, especially in the Raleigh area. And then transportation in the Charlotte area. Of course, tech and finance in Charlotte as well. Those are growth industries, and they're drawing in a lot of people. But the 3 metro areas they're moving to is going to be Asheville, Charlotte, and then the Raleigh-Durham metro area. The population growth, in 2024, it's going to end up being about 2.5%, and in 2025, it's predicted to be 5.3% growth. All right, that's today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, why don't you watch one of the 2 videos being suggested right now? Everybody have a great day. Be nice to each other.